Karen's smirk could have melted steel, but it didn't faze the veteran whose medals she'd swiped from his porch. "You thought you'd pawn valor for a quick buck?" he roared, voice cracking like a whip in the community center parking lot. The air was thick with tension, the kind that makes your skin crawl and your heart pound, as if the whole town held its breath. Karen, with her bleach-blonde bob and a purse stuffed with self-righteousness, had no idea the storm she'd unleashed when she took that wooden box, engraved with a soldier's sacrifice, from Old Man Carter's doorstep. It wasn't just theft, it was a declaration of war on a man who'd seen too much to let it slide. Carter, a Vietnam vet with a limp and a heart full of scars, wasn't the type to let things go. That box held his Purple Heart, his Bronze Star, and a lifetime of memories, some proud, some haunting. He'd left it on his porch for a local historian to pick up for a veterans exhibit, a small gesture to honor his fallen brothers. But Karen saw it as a shiny trinket to fund her next online shopping spree. She didn't know Carter had a security camera, or that the historian was late, or that the town's gossip mill ran faster than her excuses. By noon the next day, the footage was on every local Facebook group, Karen's face clear as day, her hand snatching the box like it was just another Amazon package. The town of Willow Creek wasn't big, barely 5,000 souls, but it was tight-knit, the kind of place where everyone knew your business before you did. Karen wasn't just a thief. She was the queen of complaints, the woman who'd berate baristas for a lukewarm latte or scream at city council over a pothole. She'd built a reputation, and not the good kind. So when the video hit, the backlash was swift and brutal. Posts on X called her everything from entitled to a disgrace. A local diner banned her. Kids egged her mailbox. But Karen? She doubled down. "It was just a misunderstanding," she cried at the town meeting, her voice shrill, her eyes darting like a cornered animal. "I thought it was abandoned." Carter stood at the back of the room, his cane tapping the floor like a metronome of rage. "Abandoned?" he spat, his voice low but venomous. "That box held my soul, lady. You don't get to misunderstand that." The crowd murmured, some nodding, others whispering. A young lawyer named Mia, barely 30 and new to town, watched from the sidelines. She'd been hired by Carter to press charges. But the deeper she dug, the more she saw this wasn't just about a theft. It was about a community fractured, about pride and shame colliding, about a woman who thought she was untouchable and a man who'd fought too hard to be disrespected. Mia had her own battles. Fresh out of law school, she was still proving herself in a town skeptical of outsiders. But she saw something in Carter's quiet dignity that demanded justice. She filed for grand theft and emotional distress, citing the medal's sentimental value. Karen predictably scoffed. "It's just some old medal," she posted online. A move so tone-deaf it sparked a fresh wave of outrage. The case gained traction, even hitting regional news. A local reporter tweeted, "Karen's not just fighting a lawsuit, she's fighting a whole town's wrath." The hashtag Justice for Carter trended for a week. The courtroom was packed on the first hearing day. Karen strutted in, her heels clicking like she owned the place, but her confidence cracked when she saw the gallery. Veterans in VFW hats, neighbors, even the barista she'd once screamed at over a soy milk mix-up. Carter sat quietly, his hands folded over his cane. The empty space where his metal box should have been a silent accusation. Mia presented the security footage, the historian's testimony, and evaluation of the medal's priceless to Carter, but legally worth thousands. Karen's lawyer, a slick out-of-towner, argued she'd intended to return it, that it was all a big misunderstanding. The judge, a no-nonsense woman with steel-gray hair, wasn't buying it. "Intent doesn't erase impact," she said, her voice cutting through Karen's protests. But Karen wasn't done. She took to X, posting a tearful video claiming she was the victim, harassed and misunderstood. "I'm not a monster," she sobbed, mascara streaking. "Some bought ither friends, mostly, who saw her as a flawed but good person. Others saw it as manipulation. The town split not neatly but jaggedly. Old grudges resurfaced. Was Karen a thief or just careless? Was Carter overreacting? Or was his pain justified? The debate spilled into coffee shops, barber shops, even church pews. Mia, caught in the middle, started getting threats, anonymous notes calling her a troublemaker for pushing the case. She didn't back down, but at night, alone in her rented apartment, she wondered if justice was worth the cost. The trial dragged on, each day peeling back layers of Willow Creek's soul. Carter testified about the war, about the friends he'd lost, about how that box was his tether to them. His voice broke when he described opening it to remember their faces. Karen, on the stand, fumbled, her story shifting. First it was a mistake. Then she claimed she thought it was hers. Then she blamed stress from personal issues. The crowd's murmurs grew louder, angrier. Mia pushed harder, presenting Karen's history of petty disputes, painting her as reckless, not remorseful. The prosecution's case was tight, but Karen's lawyer played dirty, digging up Carter's old DUI from a dark time after the war. "Is this a man of honor?" he sneered. Carter's face didn't change, but his hands trembled. The verdict came on a rainy Tuesday. Guilty on all counts: grand theft, emotional distress, even a fine for public nuisance. Karen faced 6 months in jail and restitution she couldn't afford. She stood, pale and silent, as the judge read the sentence. No smirk now, just a woman realizing she'd boxed herself in. Carter didn't cheer. He just nodded, like a man who'd won a battle but lost something else. The crowd outside was a mix of cheers and jeers, but Mia felt no victory. She saw Karen's daughter, a quiet teen in the back, crying alone. She saw Carter limp away, still empty-handed. Death medals were gone, sold or lost in some pawn shop's chaos. The town tried to move on, but the scars lingered. Karen served her time, but her reputation was ashes. She moved away, her house sold at a loss. Carter got a new box, a replica, but it wasn't the same. Mia stayed, taking on more cases, but the threats never fully stopped. Willow Creek buzzed with new gossip, but the wound of that stolen box never quite healed. It wasn't just about metal, it was about trust, about what happens when entitlement clashes with sacrifice, about how one selfish act can ripple through a community like a stone through still water. In the end, Karen's fall wasn't just legal, it was human. She'd thought she could take and walk away, but she'd underestimated the weight of what she stole. Carter's medals were gone, but his story wasn't. It lived in the town, in the whispers, in the way people looked at each other a little differently. Some saw justice served. Others saw a woman broken by her own hubris. The truth, as always, lay in the messy middle. What do you think? Was Karen's punishment fair, or did the town's fury go too far? Share your thoughts on where justice lies when pride and pain collide.